Hi, family. Here's a quick devotional that you can add to your Come Follow Me for this week, the week of January 9th through the 15th. I thought I would start sharing them earlier in the week so that you could use them through the rest of your studies. Last week I recorded one on Friday. This week I thought I'd put it where you can use it with family night or whenever you want to during this week, or not. It's the text of Matthew chapter 2 and Luke chapter 2. We've come to worship him. Quick tour of Bethlehem might be fun. Here is the Basilica of the Nativity, standing in Manger Square. This is the oldest site continually used as a place of worship in all of Christianity. This building, although there's been a lot of addition, as you can see, from the different stone and architectural structure, but the original part of the building goes back to 333 AD, after Constantine built a place to worship the Nativity. This is called the Door of Humility. It's less than 5 feet, and a person has to bow to be able to enter it. This is in Palestine, in occupied West Bank, so you can understand that there is unrest, and that's why we would find a guard here. But if we went through here, we would enter in to the chapel, and at the altar of the chapel, we could descend these stairs into the Grotto of the Nativity. And in the Grotto of the Nativity, this natural cave is traditionally believed to be the spot where Mary gave birth to Jesus Christ. And this star on the floor commemorates the exact spot. You can look through the stone, or look through the hole, and see the bedrock, the stone where Mary traditionally would have sat as she gave birth to the Savior. Now, this is all tradition, and even though it goes back to the 300 ADs, that's still 300 years after the birth of the Savior. So it might be authentic, and it might not be. There are a lot of people who, in studying the text, recognize that Joseph, from the house and lineage of David, would have probably had relatives in Bethlehem. And as he came to Bethlehem and brought his wife and were there for a while because the days were accomplished that she should bring forth her firstborn son, they would have stayed with family. But the houses at that time were 2-story H-shaped buildings with an open courtyard, and the dwelling places would have been here on the first and second and on the roof where people would have hung out, an open courtyard for the family. But this, of course, would have been very uncomfortable to have that much company when giving birth. And so the speculation is that Mary and Joseph would have retreated to a place that would have been more secluded, a place in the house where the domestic animals would have been kept. And in this place, we would find a watering trough or a manger built out of stone, carved from stone like a stonemason would make, where Mary brought forth her firstborn son and wrapped him in swaddling clothes and laid him in a manger. Whether it was in the home or in the cave, the birth of our Savior is a commemoration of Isaiah chapter 7, verse 14, that the Lord would be Emmanuel, which in Hebrew means God with us. God has come to earth to be with mankind, to be part of us, to feel our pains, to know our anguishes, to know our desire to do right, and the difficulty it is to learn the good by tasting the evil. But King Benjamin would tell us that the time cometh and is not far distant, that with power the Lord. Now King Benjamin, as a Hebrew prophet, would have used the word Adonai, which is a substitute for the name Jehovah. And so we don't make a mistake that he's speaking not of some nobility, but is speaking of the true Lord. He adds El Shaddai, the Lord omnipotent, who reigneth, the Melech HaOlam, the King of the universe, who was and is from all eternity to all eternity. And with all that grandeur, with all that glory and all that majesty, God himself shall come down from heaven among the children of men, and shall dwell in a tabernacle of clay, his physical body. No wonder Nephi spoke of this as the condescension of God, or the coming down of Jehovah. Because of this, Alma told us he understands our sicknesses, he understands our afflictions, that he might succor his people. And Paul said, "For we have not a high priest who cannot be touched by the feelings of our afflictions, but was in all points tempted like as we are, yet without sin." The divine high priest who came to be one of us so that he would understand challenges of mortality. Now, if we could have a minute with Mary, what do you think her testimony of Jesus Christ would be? What would be the main thing she would want you to know about the Savior? Were shepherds in the same country keeping watch over their flocks by night? And the angel of the Lord, not just an angel, but the angel of the Lord. Throughout the Old Testament, the angel refers to a specific angel who generally seems to be an escort for people to enter into the presence of God. For example, when Hagar, the wife of Abraham, is driven into the wilderness, at the point where she and Ishmael are about to die of thirst, the angel of the Lord appears to her. And after she has had the conversation with the angel, it doesn't tell us what her next conversation is, but as she leaves, she names the place, "God has seen me," or "I have seen God." Jacob would meet an angel at Peniel, where he would receive the name Israel, and then name the place Peniel, which means the face of God, for he had seen the face of God. Why do you think an angel of such authority and responsibility would be the angel to come and speak to the shepherds that night? And what's significant about his testimony, or her testimony, that she bears to the shepherds, as found in the book of Luke? What would the angel of the Lord, the Malach Yahweh, especially want you to know? And the Magi who came from the east, having seen a sign in heaven, and wanting to come and find the king. Do you think they were disappointed to find a small child? Do you think it disappointed them to find a child in a household of poverty? What do you think the Magi would want you to know? How do you think they would want you to feel about Jesus as a king? Is he our king? We should examine our allegiance, the way we feel about his government and his commandments. Finally, I'll speak for a second about Simeon and the baby Jesus. After the days of purification, Mary and Joseph brought Jesus to the temple, where an old prophet met them, and having been moved by the Lord, recognized the Messiah. He'd been looking for the consolation of Israel, and looking for the Mashiach Yahweh, Jehovah's anointed one, who he promised, who testified, would be a light to lighten the Gentiles. Now this consolation of Israel is a promise that God made to Israel, as recorded in Isaiah 49, that Israel would be God's secret agent. Israel would be like a sharp sword or a polished shaft that God was keeping hidden until he could use Israel to restore his people and establish Zion. But when Israel complained in Isaiah and said, "I have labored in vain, and I have spent my strength for naught and in vain," like the prophets who hoped that they could establish Zion and then always felt like they came short, the Lord replies and says, "It is too small a thing for you to be my servant to restore the tribes of Jacob and bring back those of Israel I have kept. I will also make you a light for the Gentiles, that my salvation may reach the ends of the earth." That's what our Savior offers us. He doesn't just call us to save Israel, not just to bring the Latter-day Saints to him, but he calls us to find the Buddhist and the Muslim and the atheist. He calls us to invite the Sunday school boy and the kid that sits in the parking lot, to all come and be partakers of the goodness of Jesus Christ. That's what I believe we're doing. I think that's the work of gathering Israel. I hope you can use this to help get some deeper insights as you study Matthew chapter 2 and Luke chapter 2. Thanks, fam. Bye.